police.
Democrats defund the police 2 years ago for an entire year.
That's a flat-out lie. That were individuals.
You can say that with a straight look on your face.
I can tell you right now, I have actually talked directly.
So who came up with defund the police? Why don't you just say you were wrong? Why don't you just say Democrats were wrong?
Because I'm not wrong, because you're wrong.
No, but hold on, Roland. Wait a minute. Hang on.
Explain to me reallocation. Hold up, Mr. CEO.
Yeah.
When you're in a company and when you reallocate funds from one unit to the other, are you cutting funding or are you simply adjusting?
Why do you have a hard time just saying they said it? Why do you have a hard time? By the way, I
actually counted three people who said the words defund.
If you allowed it, you would have heard them saying defund the police. You know what's the problem? Here's the problem, Roland. The problem is when I sit down with somebody with whatever thing they believe in, okay, it's specifically a lot on the Democratic side. It's specifically.
It's a lot on the Democratic side.
It is being a Democrat before their country. It is how they vote before America. It is, nope, I'm going to defend this because there's no way these guys going to say anything wrong with defund the police. And that's where you lose credibility. All you have to say is,
you have no,
I don't acknowledge this, I don't support this. That's all you have to say.
You have no credibility on this when you can't even acknowledge what reallocation means. You have.
In this one, we're going to have a look at a debate between Patrick Bet-David from the PBD podcast and Valuetainment and Roland Martin. And this one gets interesting because both guys are really mad. You can see that both guys are actually pretty pissed off at each other. And I had a really good time making this because it's fun watching how both of these people maintain their composure or not. And so I think you guys are going to enjoy it. And let's go ahead and get into it.
And what I'm saying to you is, whether you are Democrat or Republican, I want that to change because what I want is somebody.
You've had 53 years. The Democrats
when Republicans were president and in charge, they didn't change this.
Wait a minute. Democrats have had the black vote for 53 years. What have you done?
You're not even answering the question.
What's that?
On this issue right here, Roland, is Democrat, Republican, Independent. It is a systemic American problem.
You still haven't answered my basic question. I asked you about 27 out of 30 cities. You blame the state.
No. I answered the question.
What did you say?
I said to you, you show me high crime areas. I am explaining to you how they are high crime areas. And what I'm saying...
None of it has to do with their policies.
What?
High crime cities in America, none of it has to do with Democrats running those cities.
And you can't even name the policy. What policy? Give me three Democratic policies.
The point is you can't name the policy. This is your world.
It's right.
If I'm in the business world and you ask me a question...
Well, Pat, ending cash bail, defunding the police, which is in our faces, refusing to prosecute categories of crimes, letting thousands of convicted felons out on prison release, the prison population.
So that right there. That's the reason for high crime in the last 20 years.
No, I'm just saying that's the article from from New York Times.
You still haven't answered.
No. I'm actually answering.
Yeah.
And here's the whole deal. First of all, when you talk about the issue of ending cash bail, that's actually only been very recent. Two, ain't no defund the police. The reality is you have seen a major increase in funding of police.
Democrats defund the police 2 years ago for an entire year.
That's a flat-out lie. That were individuals.
You can say that with a straight look on your face.
I can tell you right now, I have actually talked directly.
So who came up with defund the police?
Who came up with it? Activists did.
Right. Activists were Republicans or Democrats?
They were activists. First of all, they hate both parties. You don't even talk to them.
But
I do.
But the Democrats in Congress were repeating it.
No. Stop. AOC, who else? You said the Democrats in Congress. How many Democrats in Congress oppose defund the police?
A lot. But I'm saying there were still some in Congress saying you're repeating the rhetoric.
You just said some. Hell, I could quote Louis Gohmert and some crazy stuff that he says and go, well, you know what? That's Republicans. The reality is this here. Democrats, Democratic mayors, Democratic governors, and yes, Democratic president have greatly increased funding of police in this country. Ain't even a question. So you can holler, the Democrats defund the police when it shows. They've actually increased the funding.
Show the video.
They've increased the funding.
You asked for it.
Yeah.
You asked for it. Show the video.
Which video now?
Show the video I just emailed you. I just texted to you. Because
who we got? Don Lemon, Charles Barkley.
Democrats haven't said defund the police at all because they would never
say that.
No, you said Democrats haven't said it. Activists said that. Your word.
No, you said who created the phrase. I said it was activists that created the phrase.
Who came up with the concept of defunding the police?
Activists did.
And then which credible Democrats are defunding the police?
There were some Democrats.
No, not some. These are some heavy duty ones.
No.
Make it bigger.
No.
Make it bigger.
When Democrats controlled Congress, how many votes they had?
Here you go.
When Democrats controlled Congress, how many votes did they have?
You like Nancy Pelosi?
When Democrats controlled Congress, how many votes did they have? How many votes did they have?
What's your point?
The point is here.
Pause it so we can start from the beginning.
Did 223 Democrats vote to defund the police?
Press
No.
play.
Answer the question. Yes or no?
I want you to see this. I want you to. You're asking. I'm showing you data because you asked for this.
No, you're showing me some Democrat who spoke on defund the police.
The most credible
mental
ones.
Health issues or policing in schools and all the rest. That perhaps we can shuffle some of that money around.
Suck it up. Defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police.
Mayor Eric Garcetti saying, take some of the money from policing, about $150 million.
I applaud Eric Garcetti for doing what he's done.
Not only do we need to
No.
That's two.
No, that's two. That's only two. No, that's only two.
Dismantle the Minneapolis
that's only two.
Department.
That's just
So yes, defund your
same person.
Defund you.
Yes, I support the reallocation of resources.
Three.
No, that's not defund.
We
No,
will be moving
reallocating
funds
money is
from the
defunding.
No,
NYPD
because I'm about
to
to check
youth
you.
initiatives and social
It's two.
services.
They are talking about
five now.
reducing
No, it's not.
the allocation of resources to that
You're
department. And I think
defunding them.
every
You're
single
wrong.
How's that
citizen
wrong?
in this
You're
country ought to be
wrong.
I
thinking
want you to
about the
explain
same
that to
thing.
me.
Yes, I support the defund.
That's three.
That's the
What's
keep
gonna
going.
keep
Three.
going?
Now, let me explain to you.
How many more you want me to
So
fill?
no. So let me explain.
That's five.
No, it's three.
That's five.
So yeah, I mean the spirit of it.
So pause
only
it.
three.
Pause it.
Roland, it kept
By the way,
going. It
would
kept
you?
going.
Okay, so before they continue, I just want to point out that two of those people, Cory Bush and Jamal Bowman, just lost their re-election bid, so they're out. Which just goes to show that the American people don't want and don't support the defunding of police departments, okay? They want a strong, well-equipped, well-trained police department, and the fact that these two people lost their re-election bid is a good example of that.
Hold on, right there. What does reallocate mean?
Would you like me to
Taking money
continue
away.
this?
No, it's no.
Reallocating is
Don't
taking
spin
money
it.
No,
away.
you're wrong. You're wrong. Do you understand? Do you understand that in a significant number of cities in this country,
Right,
where you have policing who do everything, okay? You have in some cities where the police are handing out parking tickets, where the police are doing duties that had nothing to do with the streets. When you say reallocate, what that says is, okay, why should we have police handing out parking tickets? Why don't we have them doing the major function of fighting crime? Why don't we actually have this unit that handles that? That's called reallocation. When you talk about the issue of mental illness,
you're spinning.
No, I'm not. I'm stating facts.
You're spinning.
First of all, let me ask both of you a question. Have either one of you actually covered City Hall before?
No.
Don't
No.
go to.
No. I'm giving you.
Here we
You want
go.
facts? Here's the deal. I actually have been a City Hall reporter. I have actually been in the city meetings. When you talk about,
Why don't you just say you were wrong? Why don't
I'm
you
not
just
wrong.
say Democrats were wrong?
Because I'm not wrong. Because you're wrong.
No,
But hold on, Roland.
Wait a minute. Hang on one
Explain to me reallocation. Hold up, Mr. CEO.
Yeah.
When you're in a company and when you reallocate funds from one unit to the other, are you cutting funding or are you simply adjusting?
Why do you have a hard time just saying they said it? Why do you have a hard time? By the way,
I actually counted three
No,
people who
if you
said
allowed-
the words defund.
If you allowed it, you would have heard them saying defund the police. Wait
a minute. I literally heard Nancy Pelosi say shuffle. I heard Kamala Harris say reallocate. You go, oh, that's defund. You actually have a reallocation of resources that exist in city government, county government, state government, federal government every single day. But for some reason, you don't want to deal with that. Yeah. Was it spin?
It's crazy to me that Roland Martin doesn't understand what reallocation means. It literally means taking away from one to give to another. And I wish Patrick Bet-David would simply pull up the definition of reallocation and just read it to him. So if you reallocate from the police department, you're literally doing the same thing that Patrick Bet-David is saying, that you are defunding the police, okay? You're taking away from them. And what that does is it puts the police department in a bad situation. They either have to operate with fewer officers, they get less training, they maybe can't wear body cameras because they can't afford them. Lots of scenarios where it just puts the innocent people at risk, right? The people that the police department is supposed to be serving and protecting.
Yeah. Was it spin when I told you that Democratic mayors and governors and the president, they've greatly increased police funding? Why? Hold up. Can you acknowledge that as a fact?
Roland,
hold up. Can you acknowledge it as a fact?
If I sit with you and you can acknowledge.
Can you acknowledge as a fact?
And you can acknowledge that your side of the party.
It's not my side.
Supported.
See, that's right there. See, you're yelling your side.
I'm not yelling my side.
You
I'm
said
a registered independent.
Here's the whole deal, though. First of all, in Texas, I don't have to register as anything.
You still are not going to acknowledge the fact that the defund the police concept was brought up
by
and
activists,
constantly reaffirmed by some of the most powerful Democrats in America.
The Speaker of the House said
in America,
shuffling of funds. That is not defunding.
If you would have,
Kamala Harris said reallocation. That is not.
That's an excellent point there, Roland, and I'm glad you can acknowledge that Kamala Harris did say reallocate those funds. And we all know what she meant, because she's the one that raised money to get people bailed out for rioting in 2020. Combine that with the fact that Cory Bush and Jamal Bowman just lost their re-election bid, you'd think that Kamala Harris's re-election bid in 2024 would be at risk as well.
It's not.
But Ilhan Omar said not only defund, she said dismantle. If she's a member of Congress, how many people are listening to that?
Stop. That's one member of Congress, right?
Oh, but you want to let the whole thing play.
That's a 7-minute video.
You want to let the whole thing play?
First of all, show me. Here's the deal. Show me 218 who defended that and actually voted for it to happen. Please, you can't. You know why?
Stop.
Because they didn't.
This is where credibility is lost.
What are you talking about?
Credibility is lost if
this is utterly hilarious. I am stating an undeniable fact.
I understand.
Democratic mayors, Democratic governors, Democratic president.
Raising your voice doesn't validate your argument.
Has increased funding. Yeah. Mayor Lori Lightfoot of Chicago took actual COVID funds and shifted $20 million to the police department to deal with the mental issues that they were having. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that reallocation?
Maybe one of the worst mayors in America.
She took COVID money.
Yeah.
Hold up. COVID money and reallocated for that. Oh, but reallocation works when you agree with it.
Roland.
What I'm trying to explain to you is when you say defund, that means cut.
You can
defund means cut.
Do you remember earlier when I said there's a difference between persuasion and manipulation? You can spin any argument.
I'm not spinning.
You're very good at debating. You're very good at raising your voice, interrupting all that stuff.
No,
I've watched you for years.
I just think it's hilarious
but
that both of you will say that the Democratic Party has supported defund the police when the
I didn't say supported.
When the fact of the matter is,
I said the Democratic Party came up with the idea of defunding the police,
and you're wrong.
And they supported it.
You're actually wrong.
You've not heard Republicans say defund the police. You've not heard.
Actually, you're actually wrong. In Senator Tim Scott's policing bill that he released in 2021, in the bill, I will happily send it to you.
What did he say?
He actually said.
What did he say?
You want me to read it?
I want to hear it.
No, I'm going to read it. Hold up.
Let me guess. He said reallocate.
No. That's not what he said.
So I'm curious about what Roland Martin just said there about Senator Tim Scott, and I pulled up this article here from The Guardian. Tim Scott, police reform failed because Democrats want to defund the police. The Republican Senator Tim Scott has accused Democrats of collapsing talks on law enforcement reform because they want to defund the police. Speaking to CBS's Face the Nation, Scott said, "We said simply this. I'm not going to participate in reducing funding for the police after we saw major city after major city defund the police. Again, I'm not going to participate in reducing funding for the police after we saw a major city after major city defund the police. Many provisions in this bill, Democrats wanted me to agree to limited or reduced funding for the police. So in my opinion, I don't find any indication that Tim Scott actually wanted to defund the police. As a matter of fact, he said that he doesn't want to defund the police, okay? So Roland Martin is wrong there.
Because see, what you don't understand is...
But here's what we're going to do.
No. Hold on. When the George Floyd Justice Act...
Play the entire
When the
clip.
George Floyd Justice Act
Play
failed,
the entire clip.
I literally sent this to Senator Tim Scott, and he didn't answer my question.
When we were running for office. And I answered yes to that question.
We are going to reduce funding in the police department and redirect that money.
Is that a smart move?
There's no
reduce
reason
funding?
The police budget should just keep growing and growing and growing.
What did they do?
We propose
police cuts is a good thing.
No, it wasn't cuts.
$7 million from the
He just said that.
You don't even know what London Bree did. You don't know what she did in San Francisco.
No, that wasn't a she. That was a guy.
London Bree was speaking before her.
In cuts.
Rashida Tlaib tweeting,
are cuts a good thing?
No more policing, incarceration, and militarization.
Police cuts are a good thing in these communities.
If they're not doing their job.
What do they say?
Oh my God! So you
we want fundamental.
Right here. No. You said to me, oh, show me Republican. When Senator Tim Scott introduced his bill, okay, on police reform. This is one of the things that he did. When it failed last year, he went on Margaret Brennan's show, CBS Face the Nation. He said, the Democrats wanted to defund the police, and that was a bridge too far. In Senator Tim Scott's own bill, they actually said, in order for police to qualify for these funds, laws will have to be passed on the city or the state level. Excuse me.
Oh my God! So you buy that into defund the police, but we need to reduce it. It's not.
See right there. You won't even.
You're so funny.
You won't even listen,
buddy. If there's anybody who doesn't listen, it's you.
No, you listen. Senator Tim Scott said that they won't get the funds if laws don't get passed.
That's defund the police.
When the George Floyd. Listen,
hey, you're a master spinner.
No. First of all, if you listen, I'm telling you what he did. He then, a year later, calls that same thing
respect,
defund the police, and I literally, and if you want to see it, those are the text messages.
You're so funny.
I sent to Senator Tim Scott, and I said, Senator Tim Scott, please explain to me the difference between what you said the Democrats are doing, what you did.
You just hurt your argument even more.
What are you talking about?
Because what you just did is validated everybody else what they just said.
No.
Yes.
That
means what Kamala said, what Nancy Pelosi said. They're all saying the same thing. Defund the police. And now they realize it was a bad idea.
She did not say defund the police.
Of course. He did not either.
Oh, wait a minute. So you say what Kamala said was defund the police.
Your argument, you just screwed yourself up.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Of course you did.
No, I was specifically calling out Senator Tim Scott by trying to call something defund the police when they were simply proposing exactly what he did.
You know what's the problem? Here's the problem, Roland. The problem is when I sit down with somebody with whatever thing they believe in, okay, it's specifically a lot on the Democratic side. It's specifically.
It's a lot on the Democratic side.
It is being a Democrat before their country. It is how they vote before America. It is, nope, I'm going to defend this because there's no way these guys going to say anything wrong with defund the police. And that's when you lose credibility. All you have to say is,
you have no,
I don't acknowledge this, I don't support this. That's all you have to say.
You have no credibility on this when you can't even acknowledge what reallocation means. You have no credibility when you can't even define that. When I have actually talked to mayors and city council members, and they have walked through how. When London Bree, when the
policies have destroyed the cities.
Here you go. We're
destroyed the cities.
Destroying the cities.
53 years Democrats have had the vote.
When the mayor of San Francisco talked about the mental illness crisis in their particular city, and they said we need to be sending mental health folks out on calls and not always the cops. Now, we've seen numerous examples where that happens. What has actually happened in the last 30 or 40 years in Democrat and Republican cities and states in the country? We've seen a massive cut with mental illness. What is the greatest increase of incidents?
Again.
No,
Spin
I'm not.
Again.
I'm stating fact. Yeah. What you don't like, what you refuse to acknowledge or accept, because you're stuck on Democrats have had it for 53 years. You act as if... Wait, hold up. You act as if in those 53 years, Republicans have never had power. You act as if Republicans have never had the House or the Senate or the White House.
Here's what I said to you.
So here's the question.
I said to you.
Show me how the Republicans
There's no way
changed.
to talk with you, bro. I got to tell you. So
show me how Republicans changed.
So here's what I tell you.
Give me examples.
Are you going to let anybody speak?
I'm waiting for your examples.
If you have 92% of an entire community's vote.
Like the evangelicals?
For 60 years.
Like the evangelicals?
Evangelicals are also part of that black vote. If you have 92%.
You actually don't understand evangelicals and black evangelicals.
If you have 92% of the black vote for 59 years, 59 years later, 27 out of 30 cities for crime are ran by Democrats, your policies don't work.
And let me ask you this question.
People have to revisit.
I'm going to ask you again.
Let me finish and I'll let you
Go
talk.
ahead.
You either have to consider new policies or the voters have to consider a new party.
Okay. Man, what a great debate. And I tell you, that last point that Patrick Bet David made about after 50 years of voting for the same party, not getting any change in your policies and not getting the results you need for your community, it's time to consider voting for a new party. And hopefully that's what we see in this year's election in 2024 when people go out and just vote for Trump en masse, because this Democratic Party is anti-America. They're anti-Americans. They just want to stuff their pockets. They don't serve the people. And it's about time that the people go and elect the people that are at least claiming to represent them, right? Give them a chance. Remember when Trump said in 2016, what have you got to lose? Well, I think that principle still applies. And I hope these communities that have been negatively affected by these bad Democratic policies, I hope they go out there, they show up, and they vote to make a change in their community. Not only for Donald Trump for president, but you got to just vote Republicans down ticket. You got to get these people out that have been enriching themselves, being the leaders of your community, but not doing anything for you or your community, right? So it's time to give the next wave of people a chance, and if they fail, vote them out as well, right? Until you get the right people in there that are actually making a difference for you in your life, vote them out. And let me know in the comments what you thought about this conversation. I really appreciate the feedback. Share this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.